In the grim darkness of the far future, humanity has only one God, whether he wanted it or not, the Emperor of Mankind, a being of impossible power whose broken body has rested upon the golden throne for 10,000 years. He does not speak, he does not move, but it is his will alone that still guides mankind. Billions worship him as a god, billions more die in his name. Yet behind all the myths, one truth remains. Without the Emperor, humanity would already be gone. He is mankind's last hope and its eternal prisoner.
For the Emperor!
The question of the Emperor of Mankind's origin remains one of the greatest mysteries in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. Even those who serve him for millennia know nothing of the truth. Only guesses, theories, and legends attempt to fill the void. According to one of the most widespread beliefs, the Emperor was born on ancient Terra, long before the rise of the Imperium. This theory claims that, in prehistoric times, human shamans, powerful psychers, sensed the coming darkness. To save themselves and humanity, they made a great sacrifice. They merged their souls into a single immortal being. Thus was born the one who would later be known as the Emperor of Mankind. Another version says the Emperor was not born of humans at all, but created by forces far older. Some speak of forgotten technologies of the old ones. Others hint at divine interventions that reshaped human essence in search of the perfect warrior and ruler. There are even those who believe the Emperor was never created. He simply always existed, an immortal observer, watching over humanity since the dawn of its existence. But what is true? No one knows. The Emperor himself has never revealed his past. His origins are hidden behind the veil of time, perhaps intentionally. In an age where billions die every day, the truth has become irrelevant. All that humanity has left is faith. Faith that his birth was inevitable and necessary.
For the Emperor!
When the Emperor finally revealed himself to humanity, the galaxy had already fallen into chaos. Human civilization was shattered into thousands of isolated worlds. Warp storms had cut planets off from one another, and forgotten technologies were lost to time. It was in this age of darkness that the Emperor began what would later be called the Great Crusade. His goal was simple in words, yet almost impossible in practice: to reunite fragmented humanity into a single Imperium. He did not seek worship. He did not desire godhood. All he wanted was order, control, a future where mankind would not become prey to the forces of chaos. But even for a being as powerful as the Emperor, conquering the galaxy alone was impossible. That is why he created the Primarchs, 20 superhuman sons, each embodying a distinct part of his own being. They were meant to be his generals, his rulers, and living symbols for humanity, each one unique, each one necessary. Yet even this grand design was not perfect. Before he could raise them himself, dark powers intervened. The Primarchs were torn from their creation chambers and scattered across the galaxy. They grew up far from the Emperor, shaped by alien worlds and foreign ideals. When the Great Crusade began, the Emperor was forced to search for his lost sons among the stars. One by one, he found them, reclaimed them, and made them part of his armies. But within each child, seeds of future tragedy had already taken root. In uniting mankind, the Emperor was unknowingly marching toward his own doom.
For the Emperor!
Horus was once called the Emperor's favored son. He was not just a commander, he was the embodiment of hope for humanity's future. But it was Horus who became the architect of the greatest betrayal in the galaxy's history, the reason for what would come to be known as the Horus Heresy. Seduced by the whispers of the Chaos Gods, Horus turned his back on his father. He betrayed everything he once stood for and led his Space Marine legions in open rebellion against the Imperium itself. The civil war that followed consumed the galaxy, Worlds burned, brothers killed brothers. And at the end of this tragedy, one final battle remained, the Siege of Terra, at the heart of human civilization. There, within the shattered walls of the imperial palace, the Emperor and Horus met face to face. Their duel was short but devastating. Legends say the Emperor held out hope to save his son until the very last moment. But in the end, he was forced to strike Horus down. Victory came at an unbearable cost. The Emperor himself fell in that battle. His body was broken beyond repair. To preserve even a flicker of his life, he was placed upon the Golden Throne, an ancient machine that became his prison. There, trapped between life and death, the Emperor has remained for 10,000 years, silent, motionless. But his will alone holds the Imperium together, preventing it from collapsing into darkness. His victory became his own eternal burden, his unending crucifixion.
For the Emperor!
Today, the Emperor of mankind remains alive, if such a state can still be called life. His broken, unmoving body rests upon the Golden Throne, sustained by ancient mechanisms buried deep within Terra itself. Around the clock, the tech priests of the Adeptus Mechanicus monitor the throne, for should it ever fail, the Emperor's last spark of existence would vanish. And, with him, humanity's final hope would be extinguished. But the death of his body does not mean the death of his will. The Emperor's mind remains active, tethered to the Immaterium itself. His psychic presence stretches across the galaxy, and through his power, the Astronomicon burns, a vast psychic beacon that illuminates the darkness of the warp, guiding Imperial ships through the madness of the Immaterium. Without that guiding light, interstellar travel would become impossible, and the Imperium would fracture into isolated worlds. Every day, thousands of psychers are sacrificed to fuel the Astronomicon, their souls consumed to keep the flame alive. At its heart burns the Emperor himself, eternal yet utterly alone. There is also bitter irony in his legacy. During his lifetime, the Emperor rejected godhood. He envisioned a rational, scientific future, free from superstition. Yet, after his fall, silence became sanctity. Today, billions worship him not as a ruler, but as a true God of mankind. His name is spoken in prayers, his image honored in temples. Whether he desired it or not, the Emperor has become exactly what he once sought to destroy: a god, humanity's last god.
For the Emperor!
For 10,000 years of the Emperor's silence, humanity has spawned countless legends and theories about his true nature and his fate. Even among those who worship him, there is no agreement. Some believe he is a god, trapped within the dying shell of a man. Others claim his mind has long since perished, and the Imperium continues to function only through inertia, fooling itself into believing its god still lives. And there are those who believe he waits, that his soul lingers within the warp, watching, preparing for the day he might return. Debates rage even over who he was in the beginning. Some say the Emperor was a man, an extraordinary man, but a man nonetheless. Others believe he is something far greater, the embodied will of humanity itself, given form through ancient and forgotten powers. Whatever the truth, it has long been buried beneath millennia of lies and fanaticism. But one question haunts humanity above all others. Could the Emperor return? Will he rise again to lead mankind from the brink of extinction? Certain prophecies speak of his resurrection in humanity's darkest hour, when all seems lost. Others warn that attempting to awaken him would bring ruin, that he is dead, and his cult is merely a lie preserving the crumbling Imperium from immediate collapse. Is the Emperor a god or just a man? Perhaps the answer no longer matters. In this grim future, faith has become more important than truth.
For the Emperor!
In the endless darkness of the far future, Across billions of dying worlds, the Emperor of Mankind remains the central figure of this universe. Even after 10,000 years of silence, every world, every soldier, every psyker and tech priest lives under his unseen gaze. He is the final reason the Imperium still exists. His will alone holds the galaxy back from complete collapse. His silence has become the voice of imperial faith. Billions fight and die each day in the name of someone they will never see. And yet, he remains their only hope. The Emperor is not merely a ruler or an ancient hero. He is the very essence of the Imperium itself. His suffering became the foundation of human civilization. His will became its law. His silence became a prayer. He has become a symbol around which the entire Warhammer 40,000 universe is built. But it is important to remember what he has truly become. Not a god, not a man, a prisoner of his own immortality and of his own victory. In the end, the Emperor is both savior and prisoner of mankind. If you want to hear more stories like this, if you want to learn more about the heroes, traitors, and tragedies of this universe, subscribe to the channel. Your subscription will help me tell more of these stories and reach the first 1,000 subscribers. This is only the beginning. Thank you for watching. And remember, in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war.